Have you ever thought about getting your own neon-like sign, but were kind of turned off by them being fragile or kind of expensive? With using this new LED RGB light strip, that's now possible. With its seamless colors and its easy customizations within its smartphone app, you can get some really awesome designs set up in minutes. Now, before I show you the setup process and some of the cool designs I was able to get with this, let's first talk about where LED lights have come from. Now, for a while now, using LED light strips, it's been a great way to add some color and pop to your rooms and under cabinets, behind TVs. They've got a lot of great uses. Especially recently, prices have really dropped to the point where you can get like 50-foot LED light strips for less than $20. They're RGB, and typically they even have Wi-Fi and smartphone app compatibility. Just looking through here, you can see I've had a lot of strips, and being that we recently moved, haven't had a chance to install all of them. There's a lot of similarities, but also a lot of major differences between the new Twinkly LED lights that we're gonna be checking out today, which are 6.5 feet compared to these more traditional LED light strips. The first thing you'll notice, compared to what I would consider some higher quality strips like these more weatherproof ones here, is that you can actually see the individual LED, I guess they're called nodes. And what that means is you don't have this seamless color here, and I realize you can't see it too well on camera now, but as we cut to these B-roll clips here, you can actually see them a lot better. So what that generally means in comparison to these other strips is you're actually seeing the individual colors, whereas this, it's a seamless color. That's a huge difference. And in terms of making actual wall art and decorations with the light strip, that's where this really stands out. Additionally, it still retains that same flexibility that these other strips have, but in comparison to these, which don't really have the ability to twist left and right, they can go forward and backwards pretty well and kind of twist like that, but it doesn't have the ability to hold its shape and make like a U, for example. These, on the other hand, because they are thicker in the way they're designed, they're actually able to bend very easily. And of course, that's what's gonna help you make the various designs that you want on your walls or wherever else you're gonna be mounting this. Aside from that, the other major difference between these older kits and this new fancy one here is its length. This is only 6.5 feet. In general, I found this is a good length to get a lot of designs made. However, if you wanna make larger designs or ones that span longer distances, you actually can combine multiple kits together in order to do that. So while these LED light kits are going to be better for spanning a longer distance, and like I said, they're concealed and they're just adding the color from behind or from lower places where you can't actually make out or see where the strip is actually located. This, on the other hand, is designed to be front and center and to draw your attention to it. They are similar in the fact that you can actually do a lot of RGB effects, strobing, fade, or single colors, as well as adjusting the intensity and speed of those effects. But where this takes it a step further is that when you actually pair it with the smartphone app, it has the ability, once you've got your design set up, to actually, using the camera of your phone, map out where these actual individual LEDs are. And by doing so within the app, it actually allows you to customize each specific zone. So for example, if you wanted blue up here, white, red, whatever, or you wanted specific effects in certain areas, you can actually customize it really well, and then you can save it for later. The whole setup and pairing process probably took a couple minutes only, which was actually pretty surprising. And then of course they have the compatibility to add it to your Google Home or Alexa household, which means adding it and controlling it with your smart devices is gonna be really easy too. Another thing is cool is if you just want it to kind of work out of the box without having to do much customization, Twinkly actually gives you a lot of things to help you out. One of which is actual templates. Whoops. One of which is just tear it. 2 templates on each side of these fold-out pamphlets here, which help you to actually map out these pre-made designs. You can actually see it tells you where the specific mounting hardware needs to go as well. So all you have to do is basically trace this and put a little hole in the mounting hardware on the specific places where it identifies it for you. You have 2 of those, so you get like a cactus, you have a musical note, and you have the word love. And even if you don't like those designs, and I thought they were cool, but I didn't really want any of that permanently attached to my wall. And I'll get to permanently attaching it in just a moment because that is kind of important. But like I said, if you don't want those designs, something that is helpful is it gives you an idea as to how the hardware kind of works and how it attaches. They give you basically 2 different kinds of pieces here. You have these corner pieces which help you create rounded right angles, as well as just straight pieces here that hold it in place. And you'll see that each of these pieces actually has a hole through it, allowing you to nail them through. Or in my case, as I did, I was able to wall mount them using the 3M tape that was provided. However, I didn't have the best of luck using that. In terms of selecting where you mount it, one of the things, at least for me, that helped me kind of determine, or one of the limiting factors, you have this long white power cable, and it's not very easy to conceal this unless you have white walls. And even if you do, though, I will say you can still notice that there's a wire there. One area that I think this design is not so much a limitation, obviously this needs to be powered, but I think it could have been a little bit better if this was a flat power cable where it just allows it to lay a little bit more flush and flat against the wall versus kind of sticking out and being a bit more of an eyesore in my opinion. So when I was determining where I would place this, I wanted this to be as low or close to the base of my floor as possible, so I have the least amount of travel between the wire and a wall outlet. And again, while these other traditional light strips have the same limitation, the thing is, if you're putting it behind like a TV or along your baseboards and stuff like that, you don't have to have a lot of excess cable going into your wall outlet. And of course, if you're placing this front and center on your wall, it's not going to be as easy to do so, especially if you don't have a wall outlet directly below it. Now, like I was just saying, I decided to try and wall mount this using the various 3M tape that was included, especially because one of my original goals with this review is to provide you as many examples of this wall mounted with different designs. Of course, I didn't want to put in a bunch of different nail holes in order to do so. So my thought was, if I use the 3M tape, typically 3M tape is pretty easily removable. However, that still wasn't the case with that. And that's why I'm actually filming on a green screen today, because I'm now trying to cover up the wall patches that are now behind me from where I try to remove the original hardware that was mounted with the 3M tape. With that though, if you think you can come up with a design that you're gonna wanna keep on your wall for a more permanent period of time, that's not gonna be an issue at all for you. On the other hand, I was hoping for something that would provide a little bit more flexibility, so to speak, that if I wanted to have this kind of design today or for 1 week, I would easily be able to switch it up as I wanted to. So I would say that's probably the biggest drawback. And again, that's not really an issue specific to this. It's just with the whole idea of how this is actually mounted using these brackets, you're gonna have to either deal with 3M tape or deal with holes in your wall if you want to mount these. And going back to customization again, there's a lot of options built into the app itself. There's a lot of pre-made presets as well as a lot of other ones in their effects store. But a lot of these designs were pretty much made for their other LED light kits, more like the string lights that you see on trays, for example, which are bigger and more grid-like, which allow these designs to actually kind of play out a little bit better. They're not going to look exactly like the design that they had in the example, but they still turn out to look kind of cool. So again, I think this is a really cool concept, and the execution for the most part is also pretty good because it allows you to create your own kind of custom art and wall designs really easily in just a few minutes. In terms of taking it to the next level, again, I think if there was a way to conceal the wire a little bit better, or perhaps if this came in, say, a 12-foot length where I could still have my main design up here, where I could feed the other side to or closer to the baseboard of my wall, where I can more easily conceal this along, where I could more easily conceal the power cord. Additionally, the one other thing that I think could be really nice for this in terms of the customization is having some way to do different designs and more easily change it up as you want. I'm not sure if that would be a different kind of 3M tape or some kind of magnetic system, but that would be a great idea for this. So there you go. I think this is a really cool new take on an old concept of LED light strips. As I've shown, I have so many of them, but this really does offer a lot new in terms of its features and its customization options that make it not just a way to add color, but rather add your own custom piece of art. So thanks for checking out this video. If you have any questions about the LED light strip, as always, you can ask us in the comments below or reach out directly, and we'll catch you in the next one.